do. Good morning and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is sponsored by Wedel's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. At this point, I normally introduce Gary Miller, but he's running just a couple of minutes late. He will be in here shortly as we roll into February. Groundhog Day tomorrow, some astrological stuff to share as well. He will be talking about that in a few minutes. Again, we are up to 10 hours even of sunlight for today, and since we'll have a nice sunny day, get out and enjoy it. We are not done with 8 o'clock sunrises, though, courtesy of Daylight Savings Time, which will kick in the second Sunday in March. We'll revisit an 8:05 sunrise then. But until then, we're still gaining sunlight, and it'll be a little easier to drive when you get up in the morning. Speaking of getting up, I'm sorry, Gary. I had to give you a little grief there. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning.
As he suits up.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. I had to walk like a penguin out there this morning. It was icy spot.
Oh, that snow yesterday that hit. It was an hour spurt. Excuse me.
They were saying maybe a chance.
And down.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. We had it had been snowing about 2 inches an hour in that spurt. It was coming down like crazy. Traffic was backed up here on West Main, all the way past the station, back towards Turwell Lane and all of that. It was just an insane little blast we had.
Yeah, and actually the weather, they weren't predicting that. So maybe a little wintry mix. And rain, actually, Kalamazoo set a record for rain on the 31st of January yesterday.
1.37
yes,
inches.
They did.
I think we saw. Now, if you do the math, and here's
we didn't have a lot of snow to show.
Here's what's going to haunt you. If you do the math, approximately, give or take, but I've been using 7 inches of snow equals 1 inch of rain or moisture. Okay. 1.36, I'll say 1.36 times 7, to do the math, we would have had close to 10 inches of snow yesterday had this all fallen
and
as snow.
And that's a really wet snow. You can actually, if you get a really, it sounds funny, but a drier snow, you can use like 12 inches per inch of rain, 12 inches of snow per inch of rain.
Yeah.
So somewhere in that, 7 to, 10 to 12, maybe 13, 14 inches.
It certainly did a number out there on West Main Street yesterday. I'm just saying, but
yeah,
that was an ugly, sloppy mess. But we got through it, and it was only about an hour, maybe a little more than that, and then it was out and gone.
Yeah.
And
I looked at the hourly forecast. I looked at the predictions. They're like, oh, it looks like I might get a little touch of snow, a little bit of wintry mix, not much.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I looked out and I was like, it's white.
Then, of course, courtesy of social media, we all learned that. When it rains during the day and then snows and temperatures dive into the 20s, you'll get some freezing. And roads really became a mess last night, so hopefully everybody made it through unscathed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
we have lots to do today. We have a trivia question to do.
And,
can we whip that off real quick here?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
And actually, I talked to Andy on the phone last night, and he actually gave me an idea for a trivia question, but I'm going to save it for a couple of weeks from now. Okay. I have one that I came up with last week, and I wanted to save it for today because it's sort of important.
Okay, well, let me sell the fact that we just don't do this for fun. We actually give away things. $20 gift card to Wedel's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center. If you can answer this trivia question correctly at 382-4280.
So every year, the American Birding Association has a Bird of the Year. And my question today is, what is the Bird of the Year for 2025?
Ooh. Really?
So American Birding Association, what is their bird of the year?
Oh, this should be fun.
So we'll see. That could take long to find it, I don't think, if their fingers are very dexterous this morning.
Yeah,
so I know with that cold and weather change, my arthritis in my fingers is acting up a little bit. So
we come in here on Saturday mornings and we preach the fact that we're old. That's what we do. That's what we do.
So it's actually-
382-4280 if you have a shot at this.
Yeah, so again, the question is, what is the American Birding Association's Bird of the Year for 2025? And some more weather things coming up. Tomorrow, actually, Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Already. It's hard to believe it's already Groundhog Day. We've gone through 1 month of 2025 already.
Say it again.
Yeah, so 1 month already gone.
We made it through the 85 days of January, so let's move on here.
I've seen other estimates for longer days and many more days in January.
I came up with 85. I'm like, that's a good number right here as we go to the phones at 382-4280. Good morning, WKZO. Who's this?
This is Phyllis.
Phyllis, you said?
Yes.
Hi, Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's our bird of the year in 2025?
The common loon.
Very good. You got it correct.
Bing, 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 bing.
And actually, surprisingly, on the way in this morning, I saw a loon on one of the streams near my house. So it's actually sort of a flooded area, but there's actually a loon swimming there. Like, oh, there's a loon. So, appropriate question this morning.
I live on Maple Lake, and we have a pair of loons out here.
Oh, they're fantastic to listen to and watch. They sometimes can be a little bit of a shy bird. They don't like people that well typically. And they mate for a long time. Actually, they typically mate for life, if I remember correctly. I've been camping up north in the Upper Peninsula when there were loons on the lake that we were camping at, and had some foggy mornings, and that loon call in that foggy morning is pretty eerie sounding.
Oh, it's beautiful, though.
But it's a fantastic sound to hear.
All right.
Yes.
Phyllis, congratulations. You have a $20 gift card coming to you from Wedel's, and we all learned today that Gary's a little loony, but that's cool. And can you hold on the line for just a moment?
And for all you Canadians out there, send loonies to me.
Oh, yeah. and they'll be very nice about it, too.
Yes, they will.
They may even apologize. Phyllis, can you hold on the line for a minute?
Yes, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm going to get some information from Phyllis so we can send her this gift card. Lots to talk about today. You can join us at 269-382-4280, or you can text in anything you want to Gary to 80373. Nature Watch continues in just a moment here on WKZO.
Wedel's Nursery Florist and Garden Center wants to know, do you have spring fever? If so, here's the prescription. Come browse the seed section at Wedel's and start planning your 2025 gardens. Wedel's Seed Department has the best selection of vegetable and flower seeds around, all 20% off right now, including heart seeds, Seed Savers Exchange, botanical interests, burpee, and more, many of which can be planted indoors soon. To give your seeds the best start possible, Wedel's carries organic seed starting mix, several sizes of peat pots, LED grow lights, and everything else you need for garden success. This week, choose from 4 sizes of Jiffy greenhouse kits that include trays, Jiffy pots, and humidity domes, and are also 20% off. And be sure to check out Wedel's Green Thumb classes running Saturday mornings now through March 1st. Today's 10 o'clock class is all about the benefits of gardening, and the 11:15 class is on new plant introductions for 2025. See Wedels.com for more information.
WKZO.
I like the local news.
More local news on the radio than any other station in town. And online, too, at WKZO.com.
8:41, 19 outside. Phyllis Norman from Pawpaw, our big winner of a $20 gift card to Wedel's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center as Nature Watch continues with Gary Miller, who I assume is going into work today because he's wearing a work shirt.
Yeah, I actually have a seminar today.
Oh, cool. All right.
Talking about new plants and new trees and shrubs and evergreens that are coming in this year, hopefully.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be in there for at least for a short time this morning for that seminar. And if you happen to stop in, actually during the week, if you happen to see something or have a question, you can email me at naturewatch@wedels.com, just to remind everybody about that.
Yeah.
So the loons are actually fantastic to watch them swim in that. When they have the little babies, they'll sit on mom or dad's back when they swim around, so it's actually fun to watch them too, if you can see them. They sit very low in the water when they're swimming, and they have that very distinctive profile if you see it. So that's why I knew I saw a loon this morning, because I could tell by the profile with its head in that. So fun to watch. So we have Groundhog Day tomorrow.
You can say that again.
I want to say, and well,
sorry. Oh yeah, you just
Jim got me today. Everybody looks at Punxsutawney Phil, but here in Michigan we have Woody the Woodchuck, And Woody the Woodchuck has actually been more accurate than Punxsutawney Phil. So, just saying. So, Punxsutawney Phil has been about 40% accurate in the last 10 years or so. Woody the Woodchuck is hitting 67% accuracy. So, pretty significant difference. And over time, Punxsutawney hasn't had a great record of being accurate. So, sometimes, but I look at the if it's cloudy, we're going to have an early spring. We get sunny. We get 6 more weeks of winter.
I lost track as a kid. I did.
And if you see if somebody said, I think somebody from Michigan set that up because in winter I think they're very optimistic about seeing spring come. We're typically very cloudy. Good chance of groundhog not seeing their shadow and spring's around the corner.
Yeah. You see that would be totally unfair here.
Yeah.
By the way, today's sunny. Get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, actually, the sun was popping through when I came in. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be pretty cloudy. And I was looking, the Michigan Storm Chasers last night posted something. Oh, we may have a forecast for being able to see Aurora Borealis.
Really?
And it was farther north. It shifted. They thought maybe down southern in the lower peninsula they could see it, but had to be a lot further north. And beginning of during part of the night, the sky actually cleared up. So you could, if you were up farther enough north, you could have seen that.
And that's why we are down to 19 because we had clear skies late. Exactly.
And all that snow and melting snow and messy stuff froze pretty solid. So.
Yeah, there was lots of crunching as I was walking out to the car this morning.
Yeah, and had quite a mess to clean off the windshield this morning. So.
Windshield washer fluid.
Mine was thick enough I couldn't do that. Actually, today starts National Bird Feeding Month. So Wild Bird Feeding Month starts today for the whole month of February.
Okay.
And some interesting bird facts. I thought I'd share some of these interesting bird facts. A flamingo can only eat when its head is upside down. Jim's looking puzzled here.
I'm always puzzled. What's your point?
So I thought that was pretty interesting. So the most popular bird in the United Kingdom, at least according to a recent survey, was the robin. In the U.S., the bluebird and the bald eagle are often voted to be favorite birds. The cardinal is also a popular bird in the U.S. It's the state bird for 7 states. So if you got a good chance of somebody asking a question, what's the state bird? You got a pretty good chance of saying, cardinal.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, going forward, after February 12th, when pitchers and catchers report, we don't talk about cardinals in my house.
I had a lot of cardinals around my feeders yesterday. I noticed quite a few male and female cardinals. Though my feeders, with this little warmer weather and the snow covers melted off, the birds have not been eating as much at the feeders, which is fine. I don't have to feed them or fill them every day. But not going near the food that they did when it was really cold out. Mm-hmm. And so that tells me the birds are a lot more comfortable right now.
Okay.
Another couple of interesting facts. Bluebirds actually nest from March until August. So sometimes they'll have a couple of different groups of little birds they fledged from the nest. And so that actually helps their population. There are 180 different species of woodpecker around the world. We've got that 6 or 7 that you see around here in this part of the country. There's 7 kinds of chickadees in the world. Sparrows are the most common type of bird because they like living around people. And the ostrich is the largest living bird. Has a wingspan of about a little over 6.5 feet and a height of almost 9 feet. Now
you can tease your friends at the water cooler.
Think of the drumsticks on that bird, though. some large wings. Well, the wings aren't great though. Actually, if you have a chance, get out and especially if it's a little sunny today. I know just driving around here and there and watching. I've seen quite a few hawks around. A lot of red tail. I saw a sharp shin the other day, and the hawks are pretty active. I know people have been seeing some eagles. Andy's still seeing that golden eagle around his house, which is a very large bird, larger than the bald eagle. Mm-hmm. And so I know people have been, there were some sightings of snowy owl in southwest Michigan. I have not seen any yet, but I know people have sighted them. There's a couple of confirmed sightings in Allegan County, and I was checking the rare bird report last night, so I like doing that, see what birds are in the area. couple other owls. A short-eared owl is actually another one that's not very common that people have been sighting here in southwest Michigan. Next Sunday, the 9th, the Audubon Society Kalamazoo has their field trip, and they're going to do maybe do a little field trip and drive around and see if they can find some of those winter rarities.
Okay.
As far as birds. They're meeting at the Park and Ride at Oakland Drive on 994 at 9 a.m., and they're going to figure out where they're going to go based on what other people have sighted during the week. So it'll be fun trip, dress for the weather. They'll have a spotting scope, bring binoculars if you can. Might get a good chance to maybe see some rare birds and maybe some really experienced birders, or if you're an experienced birder, they'd appreciate you going along. Yeah. Wedell's Green Thumb Club continues. That's actually why I'm going in today. So usually about two seminars every Saturday, except for in 2 weeks. So the Saturday after Valentine's Day, it's sort of an extended Valentine's Day. You don't have any seminars to go to. So you can spend it with your significant other and watch the birds.
For me, Valentine's Day is February 12th. Okay, we'll just move on. Can you tell I'm a baseball fan? Anyway.
Well, and actually, I was looking around. Sometimes some days can be a slow time watching sports, and I was looking for something to watch the other night. I love all sorts of sports, especially soccer or hockey. And there was a Caribbean baseball league game on. I'm like, that's fun to watch. So I watched a little bit of that. So made it seem warmer anyway.
Where'd you find that at?
Oh, I think it might have been on one of the ESPNs, or might have been Fox Sports. I don't remember which one it was now.
Oh, okay.
Which station? I got a sports package, so it's. But that way gives me a choice. I can find.
I knew he was a good man. Sports package.
I had to do that because I had to get the Big Ten Network.
Well, okay.
Being a Michigan State fan.
Okay.
I had to.
And you can be both. Big Ten Network. And you can be both.
Yeah.
Trust
so I'm
me.
actually a Michigan State fan.
Okay.
Not the Michigan. So
that's you still don't deny it. You'll still cheer them on, right?
Occasionally,
unless they're unless they're playing each other.
Yeah, well, rarely. That's quite a rare rivalry there.
Anyone going to Columbus, I'll cheer for them.
There are some games. Notre Dame's another one that it's hard to root for Notre Dame. So the long-term rivalry.
Yeah, Notre Dame is just you either love them or you hate them.
The difficulty I always have, especially in football, is when Notre Dame and Michigan play. I'm want to see both of them lose, but that's me.
That's why they make ties. Oh wait, it's college. You can't tie in college.
So that's fun. Fun watching sports, and then we've got watching soccer. It's actually interesting with the U.S. World or the International World Cup coming to the U.S. here in a couple of years. Actually, next year, I believe. Michigan State University's turfgrass program is supplying the turf for all those fields.
Really?
So I thought that was really interesting. They have a great research facility there and world renowned. So all those folks that have those lawns out there that the birds are feeding over right now.
Michigan State is such a strong agricultural school.
They have that fantastic program. Yeah. So actually right now with birds, and I've seen bluebirds around. We usually see bluebirds in the wintertime, even though you think of them going south, but there's usually some that hang around. They love mealworms. And so those mealworms are fantastic. Typically you can find dried mealworms. We've got several different size packages. If you get really into feeding mealworms, you might start doing live ones. So you have to have this little container in your refrigerator, keep them cool. Be growing these mealworms. Most people don't like to have the worms growing in the refrigerator, so they don't do that. But the mealworms, all sorts. You can do a tray feeder and feed them. There's other birds that will eat those mealworms too because they have a lot of protein in them. Bluebirds are a big one, but any of the woodpecker family, the flickers, nuthatches, most birds will eat a little bit of mealworm, but a lot of those birds that typically eat a lot of insects during the summer will eat those mealworms. And usually there's some little feeders that look like a little dish, basically, and different types of hangers. I know we've got different types of feeders at Wedell's that are specifically for feeding mealworms. And but that's a neat way to see maybe some of that activity that you might not typically see when they have little birds in the nest because they got all these leaves and it's hard to see the birds catch those insects in that. So, or those larvae that they're feeding their young with. So, might be a good chance to especially for kids to watch those parents.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up the avian bird flu that has national headlines just raging right now about it. Are we to the point where you might want to clean out your bird feeder a little more than normal?
I would.
Yeah,
I would. We're seeing more. It's out there. It's in the wild bird population. The big concern that they have with are the commercial flocks right now, and they've had some very large commercial flocks. People's backyard flocks actually confirmed diagnosis with the flu.
and this cannot be spread to humans, right?
So far, no.
So far.
There are a couple. They're getting concerned about that because there is a chance that it may end up spreading. So that's why they're really concerned about trying to at least control it to some extent. It's really impossible to eliminate it because the wild birds have it.
Right.
And I know Michigan DNR actually had an advisory for any of the waterfowl hunters. Anytime you're processing any of those game birds, wear gloves and then wash very thoroughly afterwards.
Yeah. It's like Dan Patrick says, you can't stop them, you can only hope to contain them.
So actually, I think they did say that they did have a few people that did get infected with the avian bird flu, if I remember right, out in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
But they most times it's pretty difficult. As long as you wash and everything, it's really good. But there's a chance of that crossing, actually picking that up.
Okay.
So it's a very achy disease, I've heard. So.
We have a few minutes left. 269-382-4280. If you want to talk anything nature with Gary, be it birds or the bird flu or astrology or the weather or turtles. I just threw turtles out there.
Yeah, actually, turtles are really cool. They're.
We may have to do a show on turtles.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about turtles when we start seeing them here again in the spring.
We'll slowly get there.
Yeah, well, eventually. About a month ago, NPR, National Public Radio, had a little neat story about migrating bats. And they've done some studies on migrating bats, and they've actually found that they surf, quote unquote, on storms. So because they have long distances to migrate, they'll actually watch those weather patterns, and to save some energy, if there's a weather pattern that's moving in the direction that they're migrating towards, they'll actually catch a ride on those storms and save some energy. Oh. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So pretty smart of the bats, too, to do that. And I imagine some of the birds do that, too. Those animals are actually quite intelligent as far as figuring out what to do with the weather and that. And you can always tell that there's bad weather coming in. I notice with my feeders, because if you watch your feeders and all of a sudden weather's not too bad, but all of a sudden there's a flurry of activity, it's probably going to turn nasty for a while. And if you watch, typically the birds will start feeding before that nasty weather comes in. Or the other sign might be that the hawks moved out of the area. So a lot of those are on the bird feeders too. But so National Bird Feeding Month, make sure that you clean those feeders. You need to clean those anyway because we want to try to reduce the spread. The biggest thing that they've had trouble with the avian bird flu is that it's crossed over into some of the other livestock herds too, and it's all just wild birds have gotten into their feed. Imagine a very large livestock facility, a dairy farm that. Trying to eliminate any birds flying around. Very difficult. Yeah. And so it's good to be cautious. Make sure you've got water out for the birds. It froze overnight here unless you had a heater in that heated bird bath or so. So make sure you got water out there for them. They need that water in the wintertime just like we do. And so make sure you've got that water available for them. With this little crusty ice and stuff, I imagine the bird feeders are going to be a little more activity today. With that ice and snow covering, it tends to cover up any of the food sources that they have out in the wild that they can forage for. So, but with the sunlight today, and we got warm temperatures about every day, so it's going to melt off here. So actually, pretty mild prediction on the weather for this next week.
Yeah. On a couple of days in the 40s, no big cold snap coming. And looking ahead, it's we may have a little spurt in the 20s, but that's seasonable.
And I know to say there's a few days that we have a chance of some snow.
Yeah.
I watched Sarah Flynn's forecast this morning, and so we got a few days that we got a chance of snow. But it's going to be warm. It's not going to stick around for very long. So,
right.
which is actually good. We get that ground, get some moisture back in the ground.
Yeah, I made note of that we have an exactly 10-hour sunlight day today.
Oh, wow, yes.
Yeah,
And actually,
7:56 sunrise, 5:56 sunset.
Yeah, and it says next week we go after 6 o'clock for sunset, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course, you know, I like I had mentioned earlier, we're not done with the 8 o'clock sunrises as you were rolling in because we have daylight savings time. March 9th is when that starts.
Oh, so we go back to dark.
8:05. 8:05, but everything's quickly changing at that point in time. So where we're gaining 2 minutes on either side.
And hopefully we're getting warmer then, too.
Cross our fingers.
Yes. So you put a spotlight out there for the groundhog to see its shadow. You know, even if it's cloudy, it's pretty, unless it's really, really dark, you can usually still see a shadow. So
okay.
I'm going to guess we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter.
There you go. Well, you're going to be there for a seminar today. So what time does that start?
So my seminar is actually 11:15. There's one at 10 o'clock before me.
Okay.
And
so there's plenty of time for people to get out and check out both.
Oh yeah, they can come in and look at get some food for those birds for the bird feeding month. So.
Yeah, there you go. Gary, thank you. We do appreciate it, and thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday at 8:30 for Nature Watch, brought to you by Wedel's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. CBS and local news is up next, and then American Outdoors Radio, right here on 590 and 106.9 FM, WKZO.